Crowd starting to fill in here at Kudos Bank Arena at Sydney Olympic Park. Day one action of 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games Pacific Regional. The women attacking event number one, which is the 333. My name's Jeremy Austin, alongside me, Danae Brown. Lily Cosgrove is on the competition floor and she'll join us a little bit later on. Danae, what a great test to start the weekend.
Look, it is a grueling test to kick off this weekend. So the first event of this weekend is the 333. It's a 3,000-metre row, followed by 300 double unders and a 3-mile run. So that equates to around 4.8 kilometres on the Assault Air Runner. We are looking at a time cap today at 49 minutes. So this is a monostructural event where we don't see a barbell, kettlebell or dumbbell in sight. This event is testing athletes' cardiovascular fitness and their ability to go long distance.
Lane assignments for heat number one of the women. A couple of ladies making their way back to regional competition. Lane number two, April Herring, is one of those. Helen Harding. We know Helen Harding very well, don't we, Dee? So she's made the Masters qualify, she's made the game, she pulls out of the games and then goes, I'm still going to go regionals and see what happens.
I'm just going to have a run and have a go at regionals. What an incredible competitor.
You just don't have a go at regionals. You prepare well and you fight for your spot. Maybe you just have a go, but yeah, us mere mortals.
So impressive. Now we see the athletes on screen. Athlete Alice Tucker, she's in the blue shirt. And she's looking very, very composed on this row. You can see her stroke is moving almost methodically. As she's moving, it's almost a stroke, 1 count backwards, 1, 2 in. Now, her chest is upright as she's rowing compared to Laken Watt in the pink shorts, who's almost leaning over as she comes back in. Now, when we think of efficiency, in particular, you know, with an event like this, where it's really going to reward the athlete who can move most efficiently through the entire event. You know, keeping that chest up high is going to allow, you know, the athlete to be able to get a lot of air in those lungs. And, you know, when we recall back to, as I mentioned at the start of the event, this event is testing work capacity and the cardiovascular system. So we want to stay as efficient as we possibly can.
And of course, we have some people making their regional debut. So in lane number 18 from CrossFit Miranda, Jasmine Wood makes her debut as an individual.
Now we're looking for athletes not to go out too hard in the first part of this event. It is one on that 3-mile run. We want to make sure that they can keep themselves composed and have enough energy in the tank to come home really, really strong. They're going to be using a lot of their legs as they, you know, work through this first part through the row, and then that plyometric jump as they're doing the double unders. But they really need their legs as they jump onto that run. It's something that I've mentioned before, is that this run is not your ordinary 3-mile run. It is one of the hardest runs that you can imagine because your legs are just so heavy from the work that you've done prior.
Lady on screen in the blue, Kat Baker. Expect some great stuff from her ex-triathletes and with a great capacity. I asked her yesterday if she thought she would get the event record. She goes, that's not her bag anymore. So going from that triathlete background to get more well-rounded, I don't think you're going to lose an engine like that anytime soon. Having a look around, but looking really composed. Are we going to see her at the back end with that event record? We'll have to wait and see.
She is looking composed, Jeremy, but as you can see with the row, she's pulling it right up from her mid-waist to up, you know, to her almost her throat. Now this may be a strategy so that she can actually get a little bit of a longer stroke, which means that the fly or the wheel ticks over just that tiny little bit more distance. Look, technically, I would question it. However, you know, she is a very good competitor, and I'm, you know, perhaps this is a technique that, you know, works really, really well for her.
1, 2, and 3. We've got 3 women that have done.
We know that, you know, people who have those long levers and long appendages on a row do very well, because on that stroke backwards, you know, as if you think about it in your head as, you know, it's the oars going into the ground and it's kind of pushing yourself against the water. So it's about trying to, you know, get that extra distance in meterage.
Kat Baker over the halfway mark of this 3,000-metre row. To her left, Chelsea Doherty, training partners. There's Chelsea to the right in the maroon top. This is first time appearance in the individual competition for Chelsea. She was in the team for Creature last year.
Those 3 women are holding sub 2-minute pace, so definitely going to be women that'll take us into the double unders unless somebody makes a drastic change to their game plan.
So the girls here trying to keep a steady pace. You know, if they were sprinting a row, they would probably be able to move at a much faster pace. But they will probably be doing their 500-metre splits at something that is less than what they would normally row if they were rowing for a shorter distance. And that is just to save themselves for the back leg of the event.
Our event record still standing from week number 1 in the Europe Regional, Gabriela Magala, 40.15. So a couple of event records from that first event, first week, still standing.
That's impressive, isn't it, Jeremy? But you know what? I'm really looking forward to seeing, you know, Kat Baker, Alice Tucker in this particular heat. I know those girls have engines. I realise that Kat has said that it's, you know, something that she hasn't been focusing on of late. But you know, I think once you build that base and that engine, even if you do get stronger, I find that, you know, the strength only helps you along with your cardiovascular capacity.
I tell you now, I've been trying to build my engine for many years. It's still not working for me.
So a few different techniques here. We can see Helen Harding just in the middle of the screen here. She's pushing back on the rower and just a small pause as she gets to the top of the rower. She is a 2-time defending CrossFit Games Masters champion for the women's division of 40 to 44.
We're going to have a new one this year. Helen foregoing her invitational to the Reebok CrossFit Games this year in the Masters division. Focus on a little bit more family time, which I can fully comprehend. It does take a toll, all the training trips away, and you've got to call it at some stage. Hope to see her back there in the Masters competition, but even more so, love to see her compete. Now, here's the dilemma. What if she goes top 5 this weekend? Does she go then, nah, sorry family, I'm out of here? You know her quite well, so what do you reckon she'll do?
Isn't it Murphy's Law? I know I said the same thing actually for the year that I thought, oh, I'll just have a little bit of a train, I'll do some Masters. And then I kind of got to a stage where it was like, oh, I don't think I'm going to be this fit again. I might as well just have a little dabble. And it was like, oh, sorry, babe.
Gotta go.
Gotta go.
See you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Number of impressive performances right across the last couple of weeks. Katrin Davidsdottir, 41.10. Annie Dorisdottir, 41.30. Brooke Wells in 42.06. And Emily Abbott, 43.17. But still that time to beat from Gabriela Magala from the Europe Regional, 40 minutes and 15 seconds. Are we going to see anyone go sub 40? That's a really easy number to keep our eye on as the clock ticks over to nearing 10 minutes. So these girls are going to be rowing a little bit slower than the guys, obviously.
And it is just due to, you know, their length of stride in there, and also just the power output.
So we're looking to get anywhere around 11 minutes 37, which was Gabriella's split for this. Kat still having a look around. It'd be bad if you're looking around and you had someone next to you that was rowing slower. Kat Baker now with 400 metres left.
And I think, you know, we are going to see a race where it is pretty much between Kat Baker and Alice Tucker in this particular event. I'm just hoping each athlete can, you know, stay within their limits. With that said, you know, it may come down to the last 400 metres of this race. Let's see how it unfolds.
We are down to the last 400 metres of the row for Kat Baker from CrossFit Creature. Rumour has it she's on the move up north to the Sunshine State of Queensland very soon. But she's going to be one of the first off this row and into the 300 double unders. Alice Tucker, now her stroke rate starting to increase a little bit, and the power in that pull.
As you know, Alice Tucker in the blue shirt here, what she does look like she's actually doing is using a little bit more of her arms. Now, this could be because she wants to save her legs for the double unders. I do know that coming up previously, because I've done a little bit of work with her, that she has had a little bit of a calf strain and injury, so she hasn't actually been able to practice this event again in its entirety or parts of it, just due to that calf strain. But she did do the event when it was announced, and we kind of chose to, you know, go with, you know, we know she's got a good engine, let's just let her work on the rest of the events for the weekend.
And as expected, it is Kat Baker first to the double unders, and getting on to that assault runner, the priority at the moment. 100 double unders required in each of the 3 segments. The floor between the athlete and judge. Lindsay Vaughan to the left of screen in the red crop top and the red hair and the red socks for that matter.
So it's important, the athletes in this particular section, I know it may seem unrealistic to say, but they need to be getting their heart rate down, and they needed to, you know, be really relaxed and really composed. So shoulders need to be relaxed, arms nice and close to the body, you know, facing a little bit forward. Look. So Kat Baker on screen there, blue top, looking really composed with her double unders, keeping the feet nice and close together.
3 sets of 100, so they'll advance on the playing field after the first 100 double unders.
Lady we spoke about, the Masters champ, 40-44 division, Helen Harding, is exactly 100 double unders behind our current leader in the blue crop top center of screen, Kat Baker. Expect some great stuff from Kat Baker on this run. We've proven in the past with Kat Baker and some longer events, she has done very well. And she will be the first athlete to move to the 3rd segment.
And there's Helen Harding just in the center of the screen there, looking very composed on her double unders. She's put in quite a bit of work in her off-season with the double unders. She does come from a gymnastics background, so this is something that she wasn't as familiar with, but she has been working on those weaknesses through the off-season. And I know that she's, you know, been in contact with a lot of people who have, you know, helped her to, you know, become more efficient with her jump rope.
Kat Baker has worked very hard in the last 12 months. And the definition of those abs proves it. Working very hard on her nutrition. And as you said with Helen, just getting rid of as many weaknesses as possible. Kat's hungry for one of those top 5 spots at the end of Sunday. And it will be her first time, if she can do it, to go to the Reebok CrossFit Games. 15 minutes coming up on the clock. We've still got a long way to go. We've got 4.8 kilometers or 3 miles on the Assault Air Runner coming up. That's Kat Baker. She's actually under split time for the event record of 15:15. So Kat Baker now has the fastest split time on the double unders, and she will start the long, arduous trek going nowhere.
As you can see, just shaking out her arms there. Now, this pace that she's starting up, with a triathlon, Ironman background, she'll be very good at knowing how to pace herself on an event like this. So don't be surprised if what you do see is that she starts to build that pace as she gets further into the run.
Lindsay Vaughan was our third competitor on, but Ashley Corby was our second athlete onto the air runner. Courtney Haley's on as well now. Alice Tucker is now on. But the race is far from over. We are just getting warmed up. The crowd's getting warmed up here at Kudos Arena. This is Heat 1 of Event 1. Day 1 action. The 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games Pacific Regional. And the first of 6 tests coming up for these athletes.
I'm really looking forward to, looking at the back end of this race. I really think it's going to come down to the wire. Alice Tucker is a really strong runner. She looks very composed here. Her running style. I like the placement of where her arms are. They're not dropped too low. Chest is up and opened. I know because we have spoken with Alice about this, and we're going to cut this particular run into 3 sections. So again, as I mentioned before with Kat Baker, watch for her to speed up as we get to the back end of this race.
These athletes got to be careful at that back end as well. We've seen once they do come off the assault runner, the run down the competition floor is tough. Still 4 ladies waiting to get onto the air runner. 3 now, as Jolene Neville in the black and the red, the bottom of screen, getting on. And Kat Baker, our current leader. The judges will be moving the chess pieces down the floor to give you guys at home and the people here at Kudos Bank Arena an idea of who is in the lead. But at the moment, there is no doubt who our leader is. And she is going to be pushing for an event record time, which is 40 minutes and 15 seconds from Gabriela Magala from the Europe Regional in week 1 of competition.
Jeremy, did you say when you spoke to Kat she was hoping to finish this event in 38 minutes?
Yes, 38 minutes was her target, which is 2 minutes under event record time. Now, in previous years, Kat Baker has done very well on the deadlifting events. Guess what we've got coming up next? A deadlifting event. How about that? Can we see Kat Baker at the top of the leaderboard after day 1?
That would be a very impressive start to the weekend. Now, as we look across the line there, we can see where the foot placement is on the wheel of the Assault Air Runner. What we are looking for is athletes to try and get their foot a little bit higher up on the belt. Now, what that's actually going to do is that's going to spin it around a little bit faster. Earlier we spoke to Rob Forte, who we had here in the commentary box. Running on the Assault Air Runner is a little bit different to running just, out on the open road. And it does even up the field in terms of, you can have someone who is a really strong runner when they're running, outside, but, it doesn't translate as much to when they're running on the Assault Air Runner. And it's simply because each time that foot strikes down, it needs to pull the wheel back. Now, unlike a normal treadmill, if you will, which is powered by a motor, the Assault Air Runner is powered by foot. So the only way to have the fly or the wheel move around is for these ladies to strike their foot on the ground. So it's basically operated by themselves.
Coming up to the 20-minute mark of event number 1. This is the start of the weekend, and what a gruesome and brutal start it is going to be for these athletes. We've seen a bit of carnage. The 2 male heats that started the morning off for the individuals. This composure you are not going to see in about 20 minutes time. We saw a lot of cramping, D, in the previous heats. Did they go out too hot? We don't know. Is it a lack of practice on the assault air runner? We don't know. But a great shot of the ladies straight across the competition floor.
Yes, as we look down the line, we can see the body positioning of the ladies. So Jasmine Wood, who's just in the green top there, she does look a little bit more laboured. She is leaning over Tiny a little bit more, whereas Alice is, you know, quite upright. Let's kind of see how that plays on as we move across the end of the event. I know Jasmine is really good, you know, with the barbells. She's super strong. So, you know, we all have our strengths and weaknesses, but I'm sure she's done quite a bit of work with this event, and it's actually really good to see her competing here as an individual.
Sammy Wood, individual and team games competitor, and she wants to head back. Finishing 12th in 2015. And been close for the last couple of years. And once Dave Castro released details of the handstand walk, she was straight into the gymnastics gym, walking on her hands, but it seemed like minutes. So we'll look for her tomorrow morning when we get into event number 3.
Yeah, she seemed very ecstatic about the event with the obstacle handstand walk. When I spoke to Sammy earlier, she mentioned to me that, you know, her strategy for this weekend is actually just getting through this event here. This one here wasn't one that, you know, played to her strengths as such. So she's just looking to, you know, minimise the damage on this particular event, and I think there is, without a doubt, we're going to see, you know, something spectacular from this girl as we move through to event 3 and even possibly the snatch workout event. So let's see what's in store for Sammy Wood.
Kat Baker, her chest piece out in front of everybody else. She's over the quarter of the way through this 4.8 kilometre or 3-mile run. Still looking exactly the same as she did when she got on the air runner.
Yeah, as you can see, she's kind of picked up a little bit of her tempo from when she first started. So with a Ironman background, she would have a really good idea of her pacing strategy. And that would be just, you know, letting the legs flush out a little bit from that row and the double unders, you know, and starting to build and build and build as we get to the back end.
Remember, the world record or the event record is 40 minutes and some change.
Now, Kat's feet are turned in a little bit there as she runs, and she's quite high up on the belt. She is from an Ironman background. She does have a lot of experience, but I wonder if, you know, some of the strengthening that she has put into practice has kind of changed a little bit of her gait and her alignment of her stride. Or if she's just trying to, you know, run on different parts of her muscles. We spoke with Rob Forte earlier, who said, you know, he would change his foot directions just so that he could, you know, use different parts of his legs and in different parts of his body, particularly in a long event.
As we approach probably about a third through, getting through the first mile was Baker, and she's still out in front, and that chest piece. So
Danae, talking triple three, this was one of the games events in 2014. You were there, you're on the ground, soaking up the Californian sun, enjoying yourself immensely. How does that compare to a stadium inside, air-conditioned, music pumping.
Can we put a correction on that? Enjoying myself immensely? First things first. It was very, very hot, Jeremy. We can see the assault screen just on screen here. And Kat's pacing as she works through this event, which is something you would probably need to keep yourself occupied as you move into an event like this. You know, something to stop the mind from wandering. You know, personally, I feel that it would be harder to run on the assault air runner opposed to being outside, even though it was extremely hot. But, you know, it's so hard to keep your mind occupied. You know, you're feeling like you're hurt and you're in pain, and you've kind of got no one to pace yourself off of. If I was running in an event, I'd be able to, you know, look at the person who is in front of me, and I would be able to, you know, keep my eyes focused on them and just try and reel myself in and try and take over them and just peg them off slowly. But it's very hard in an environment like this because, I mean, you can see where the chess pieces are moving, but the chess pieces are moving like 400 metres behind of, you know, when they've actually set that pace. So, you know, it's very difficult, I would think, and to get through an event like this, you really would have to run your own race.
And running outside, obviously, the scenery is going to be changing, different crowd. So your brain's staying a lot more stimulated throughout the entire run. Here, everyone's pretty much stagnant in the crowd. So the mental game has come into it big time.
Oh, Jeremy, that's a great point because, you know, I know when I was running around the track that you'd see different people that you knew along the way, and they'd be like cheering you on, which would kind of give you that tiny little pep up just to keep going.
Kat Baker, our current leader. Alice Tucker now moving into second position at the top of the screen. See those two chess pieces, they are our current leaders. And this is Alice Tucker sneaking into qualification for regionals.
She did sneak in, but, you know, I don't really feel it was a true reflection of, you know, how talented this girl is. She has an engine. So I look forward to seeing her, you know, come on strong on the back half or part of this race. The commentator on the floor said that she was just a little bit behind Kat Baker. So let's look and see if this can come down to a bit of a foot race at the end of the event. If we look across the line, we can have a look at the athlete's foot placement on the belt, which is what I've said earlier. What we're looking for, and you can see Kat Baker, who's in the middle of the screen, kind of in the middle of the assault air runners, and you can see that her foot placement is quite high up on that belt, which is great because that means that the belt is able to move over just that little bit faster, which is what you need in a race like this. It is a little bit different than running on the road. If we're comparing it with the girls either side, they're kind of running into the middle part, if you will, of the belt, which means that it's going to tick over just that slight bit slower. So, you know, you're still putting in the same amount of effort and the same amount of work, but it just means that the belt's taking a little bit longer to tick over.
And folks, if you're just joining us, 49-minute cap on this event.
Kat Baker, our current leader, and way out in front of everybody else. If she is to break the event record, she's got to get the back half done in under 11 minutes and 40 seconds. And there is now a 1 minute gap between her and Alice Tucker. A number of ladies battling it out for that third position. But don't be surprised to see Lindsay Vaughan with the red hair and the red crop top center of screen be one of those ladies to move forward.
So my cue to Alice, her mantra for this event, as soon as she gets onto the assault air runner, I love running, I love running, I love running. That was the only thing she was allowed to say.
No one likes running.
Running on a salt air runner for 4.8 Ks. So you're going to need every ounce of mental fortitude that you can summon just to get through this race. It is a grueling start to the weekend.
Half an hour down. We've still got another 19 minutes left on our time cap, which for these athletes is going to seem like an eternity. But Kat Baker now moving forward once again. She's in the lane 11. She's from Sydney, so she hasn't had to travel too far to get here. Got the comforts of home.
You can see the different running style with the women here on screen at the moment. So to the left, we see, you know, a bit of fatigue settling in. The shoulders are starting to sway a little bit. The hips are starting to sway. And it may just be a little bit of a result of, you know, the work that's actually being put in leading up to this section. Kat still looks very composed. She was in the middle part of the screen with the blue top.
It's day one action at Kudos Bank Arena. Not only do we have the fittest athletes at the Pacific Regional, we've also got the fittest judges. I'll tell you what, in this event, the judges are doing a fair bit of work moving those chest pieces up and down.
Really challenging part of this 3-mile run, right in the middle of it. Advancing past or close to.
She looks hungry. I think Alice Tucker's got that look on her. It's just that Terminator, hungry, ready for it. We can see Lakeland here in the corner of the screen with the black top and purple shorts. She looks pretty comfortable right at this moment.
We've got two ladies who are at the moment.
Remembering we have got one more heat after this, which will conclude event number 1.
And joining them now.
Very grueling day one of action here for these individual competitors.
She's surpassed Lindsay Vaughan at this point, but as I say that.
So Christy Bishop now moving into 3rd place. Lindsay Vaughan just behind her in 4th. But no one is in Kui. That's another Aussie reference of Kat Baker, who has led from the front and stayed there.
This is really important for Courtney Haley.
She's roughly got 7 minutes to go to break that event record from Gabriella Magala from the Europe Regional. Now 1,200 metres remaining for Kat Baker. She's in the last quarter. And this is where we've started to see some athletes really speed up.
We'll probably see her really start to pick up the pace as she gets to about 400 or 500 metres out from the end part here. With that said, you know, she may not even need to.
They're not just racing the other 19 athletes in this heat, but the clock as well. There's another 20 coming up in just a little while.
And Alice is starting to pick up the pace there. You can see that because her arms are starting to move a little bit faster. So on the assault runner, if you do want to move faster, it's really important to try and swing those arms faster as well. So not only moving your legs, but moving your arms as well.
Kat Baker still maintaining that 1 minute lead over Alice Tucker. So the battle for 3rd is going to be tight. Christy Bishop and Lindsay Vaughan battling it out.
You know, I have to say I'm impressed with Lindsay Vaughan on an event like this. She does have a strong gymnastics background. So coming out so strong with an endurance, nothing to do with gymnastics event, you know, all monostructural, that's a really good start.
She is one of our taller athletes. And for CrossFit Ballina, which is at the north of New South Wales, right near New South Wales-Queensland border on the east coast of Australia.
Let's look for her, you know, on the last event of this weekend on the rope climbs. I think she'll do really well, and obviously on the gymnastics event as we see her cross over the obstacle course. But kudos to her for doing really well, boom, on a running event.
And she moves forward. She's one of 5 ladies now. The last quarter.
She has completed 3,600 meters. She's got 1,200 meters to go.
35 minutes down. Kat Baker, she's got under 5 minutes to get the last section of this event completed if she wants that event record.
As we look down the line, we can see the women, you know, probably using up every single ounce of mental strength they have, you know, just to get through this grueling test.
Well, the fact that it's self-propelled and we're not using a motor.
Well, the body is the motor. Basically, they are the machines propelling the belt forward.
Still 1 minute between 1 versus 2. Kat Baker versus Alice Tucker. But Kat Baker, no one is going to touch her in this heat.
No one is going to touch her, but Alice just gained 10 seconds on her lead. 50 seconds. As we look down the line, we can see, you know, Kat Baker looking really comfortable there and starting to stride it out a little bit more as she comes to the end of this race.
And Christy Bishop is now.
And there's Alice Tucker on screen in the blue shirt. She's still looking very focused and very much in the zone. So I think she's looking to come and finish off strong.
This event complete well underneath the 49-minute mark.
Just looking at her screen there, seeing how much more she has to run and the distance she's got to go before she finishes this event.
Baker has lifted the pace, and she now finds herself with 800 meters to go, and we're at 37:30. So if she can pull a 2 minute and 45-second 800 out, and then she will be the owner of the event record. It's going to be really close if she...
So as I mentioned earlier that, you know, we're looking at the athletes who will probably try to come home really strong. They're probably not going to be able to go all out until they get closer to, you know, 800, 600 meters or even 400 meters left to go. They'll probably only have that amount in them. If they try and, you know, start to, you know, go too fast too early, they'll find that they might get, you know, within 200 meters of the finish line, and they just will conk out. So it's about managing their bodies and about really having a good awareness of when to push.
Tucker to make a big move, and you can see Tucker's really starting to stride out in lane 19.
And you can see Alice Tucker, you know, with the blue shirt there in the corner of the screen, starting to stride out there. I think she's looking like she's, you know, going to give it her best and all to try and catch Kat Baker. Bearing in mind, we do have another heat to follow, so it's really important for the women, you know, who are in the race at the moment to keep that in the back of their mind, because, you know, every point or every time they can get a second quicker, it does count on the scoreboard.
39 minutes down, Kat Baker still out in front with not long to go. That event record is going to stay intact.
She still looks very relaxed. You can see her shoulders are really relaxed, but I really love how, you know, her arm position. She's got it nice and high. You know, there is a few sighs there, but it looks like she's, you know, fine with her breathing.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kat Baker hits the last 400 at 39
Kat Baker, last 400 metres. Christy Bishop, who is currently in third position to the right in the black, has made a great move. She is going to battle away with Courtney Haley in lane 7 to take out that third spot. But it's all about Kat Baker in the blue crop top, who is not going to get the event record, but she is going to be the fastest person in heat number 1 of event number 1.
And look, don't be surprised, Jeremy, if this is one of the best times we see for this event.
The event record from Gabriella Magala from the Europe Regional is just ticking over. So Kat Baker possibly within a minute away of finishing this event.
She wasn't able to catch Baker. You would imagine in the next minute or so, Kat Baker will be running towards the finish line.
Kat still looking very composed on her run. She knows she's so close to the finish line right now. In comparison with the girls either side, you can see the pain on their face as they're trying to just tick over every single metre.
As Kat Baker starts to wrap up her time on this hot runner, we can see left of screen, Sammy Wood just starting to walk a little, which is not great. We saw a lot of cramps in heat number 2 of the males about half an hour ago. But we also saw Zeke Grove walking as a strategy on the assault runner, which was crazy to see, but if it works for you, run with it, literally.
Boom.
Or walk with it.
And that's the thing, you don't really know. You know, maybe that is their strategy moving into this event.
And as expected, Kat Baker with that Ironman triathlon in the background coming over the line in 41:35. Only about, is she kidding? Doesn't look like she's done anything.
And it's like, might just have a slight stretch here and finished. Yep.
I don't know if you just heard the judge, but he just said you killed it, and she did. And doesn't look like she has worked out for the last 41.5 minutes.
Obviously, you know, taking some time to focus on her weaknesses through the off season and focus more on strength has done her very, very well, and hasn't, you know, prohibited her at all with a long event like this. Alice Tucker on screen there, just in the blue top, is looking to finish off the race.
42.5 minutes down, and it is Alice Tucker who is going to come over the line. It's not going to matter about the time, it's going to matter about the placement of the athletes as they come through in the next heat to see where they all rank. You'll see very shortly the girl left of screen, Christy Bishop in the black and the green shoes. She will be the next to exit the assault air runner and make her way down the floor. Christy Bishop from 4.740. Lots of experience on the regional floor. And a great third place finish in this heat.
Christy looked like she put a lot of effort into that run, so I'm pretty sure she would be happy with, you know, how she finished off in that event. She looked like she mentally just kept holding on.
These are valuable points early in the weekend for 2 athletes we expect to be in contention come Sunday.
Lindsay Vaughan dropping off a little bit, but she's not too far away from finishing. The other battle going on between Courtney Haley and Ashley Corby in lanes 6 and 7. That could possibly be a sprint finish. But expect Lindsay Vaughan to get off the assault runner any time now. As we have 5 minutes remaining, it is going to be Courtney Haley first. Great job from ex-level 10 gymnast to finish an event like this. April Herring, welcome back to regional competition. And Lindsay Vaughan just at the top of screen coming through, finishing up 44.25. Remember, all these times are unofficial. Click on the leaderboard tab at games.crossfit.com for all your official results.
We have Shaper.
You know, that's a handy little finish for Courtney Haley because, you know, she does come from a pretty strong gymnastics background. So I think that's a great little finish or start to the weekend.
She's very, very close as an individual competitor. Did compete at the Games a couple of years back with the CrossFit Rocks team. And Helen Harding just starting to struggle a little bit. Ashley Corby now.
Ashley Corby did mention to us that she does like cardio. Loves this stuff. So it's of no surprise that she's had a good finish to an event like this.
I know a number of females we spoke to over the last couple of days were actually pretty worried about coming into this event because in practice they hadn't finished it. That was causing a little bit of stress, as it would. So if you get this event finished in a reasonable sort of time, between 40 to 45 minutes, you're doing okay. We've had a number of those ladies finish heat number 1 already. So we've got about 2/3 of the field still on the air runners.
Finish this event. We are 3 minutes from cap. 3 minutes for these athletes to get.
Jeremy, we might be 3 minutes out from the finish of the event, but you know what? I think this will be the longest 3 minutes of their life.
Sana Suzina finishing up. About 46.10. And now Morgan Schaefer. She is done and very happy to be finished with that. Pack that away. Kat Baker looks like the only one who's happy to be there at the moment. Everyone else struggling a little bit. She's got a smile on her face.
She's like, yeah, that was a nice little warm-up.
As you would with a Heat 1 win and setting the time to beat for the next heat coming up in under 10 minutes. So make sure you tune in because we will have the fittest 2 women on earth coming up in heat number 2, Tia Claire Toomey and Cara Saunders. 2 minutes now left on the clock of heat number 1. And the battle now is on to get this done. Sammy Drescher now about to finish up. Long-time regional competitor. In her third individual regional, digging really deep. She can still finish this event. 90 seconds now left on the clock. A lot of these ladies trying to minimize the damage that will cause on the leaderboard. So they need to get through as quick as they can, get those bodies in some sort of reasonable condition for the rest of the weekend.
1 minute remaining. Do we want to see these people finish the course with a race of noise to the
Katarina Makarova, CrossFit Berloga over in Russia, finishing up, and Eva Dalecki now, bottom of the screen. Ev finishing up. She's another elite level gymnast, so watch out for her tomorrow as we get kick-started with event 3 and the handstand obstacle. And now with 30 seconds remaining, Jazzy Wood, and the race is on with Laken Wood, and Laken's got more in the tank, and will take those important points off Jasmine Wood. And it looks as though Jasmine Wood might get it by not having the chest piece knocked over. The sprint is on now to get this done, but that will do it for us for heat number 1. Jolene Neville so close, 20 meters away from finishing. But wow, what a performance from Kat Baker. He has got the 10th fastest time worldwide. That is very, very impressive from Kat Baker. And have a look for her in event number 2 coming up later on this afternoon. Day one action at Kudos Bank Arena. We are now in Sydney, Australia at Sydney Olympic Park. My name is Jeremy Austin. Alongside me, Danae Brown. Lily Cosgrove will be joining us later on. We've seen some strange results already with the team competition and 3 heats of the individuals, and it is event number 1, 333.
We've seen this event in the CrossFit Games, and now we see it make its way here to the regional setting with a 3,000 metre row, 300 double unders and a 3-mile run. These ladies have a time cap of 49 minutes.
Off and running, heat number 2. The grueling test begins. We've just seen a number of female athletes in heat 1 not get it finished. Our lane assignments for heat 2, a number of contenders for those 5 qualifying spots at the end of Sunday. 1 of 6 tests coming up for these athletes. The fittest and second fittest women on earth, Tia Claire Toomey and Cara Saunders, will battle it out once again. But who are we going to see at the end of Sunday putting their hand up saying, hey, I want a shot at the big dance?
It really is opened up this year with Alethea, not competing. It means that there is a spot available for, anyone who's hungry enough to try and punch their way through to Madison. So this is a monostructural event where, we don't see a barbell, kettlebell in sight. The athletes are testing their cardiovascular fitness and their ability to go long distances. All implements used in this event will test their athletes' work capacity and how well they can use their bodies to perform rhythmic, dynamic activity at a moderate to high intensity for an extended period of time. So when we take a little bit of a look and we analyse the program as a whole over the weekend, we can see how really well-rounded it is. This particular event really does rely on an athlete having a high work capacity, whereas we will see in the latter part of the regionals weekend where things start to speed up a little bit more and the time domains are a little bit shorter. As we look across the line, we can see the females' stroke rates there. They're pretty much, what we are looking for is a nice, smooth transition. It's almost with a timing, with a timing of a 1 pullback and a 1-2 recover. The event isn't really won or lost here at the row, but it will be, imperative for the athletes not to fall too far behind. We can see a few different techniques here from Tia, Jess, and Cara on screen. Tia, and there's Jess right on screen. So Tia, we know from the open event that she didn't do too well on the row, but what I've seen on social media is that she has been working on her row mechanics. So let's see how that plays off.
I'll tell you a funny story. So Tia rocked into my gym for Open 18.1. I had that great task of judging the fittest woman on earth. Cool. So she finishes with the toe to bar, she finishes with the hang clean, she gets on the rower, and guess what happens? The display turns off. Not ideal, but in true Tia fashion, kept going, composed, didn't worry about it. Display turns on, she keeps going, gets the job done. Obviously, she redid it.
Her mechanics look really good on this. She looks like she's driving back with her legs and, trying to use her arms just on that last bit and the last pull. Now, we know Cara is a really strong athlete, and there she is in the middle of the screen here with the purple leggings. She would have a really high power output. She's a 3-time defending Pacific Regional champ and second place at the 2017 CrossFit Games.
So, Danae, let me paint a picture for you. One time in 5 years that Cara gets beaten and it's you. What does it take to beat the second fittest woman on earth?
I think the stars aligned for that moment. That was, I think, a situation where the stars, you know, really aligned. But, you know, could we see it again this weekend? It's been proven it can be done.
It can be done. Cara has been so dominant down here at the Pacific Regional for so many years.
She's looking really composed on that rower right now. You know, she's having a little look around just to have a look at and see, you know, what the athletes are doing at the moment. But she's driving her legs, using that upper body strength and using the strength that Cara has as an athlete, just to be able to turn that flywheel over.
Someone asked them to turn the music up? Huh? Someone asked them to turn the music up? Yeah.
Looking for these ladies to finish this row roughly around 11 minutes and 30 seconds. The fastest split time from Gabriella Magala from the Europe Regional, week number 1.
So Jess Coughlin in the middle of the screen there, just in the all black. She is pulling the rower, you know, quite high up, but again, that may be a technique that she is utilising, just so she can get a little bit more length.
Jess, one of our qualifiers from the Pacific Regional last year, got a taste of the big dance.
And it'd be great to see her back again this year. You know, she's a really talented athlete. She has all the tools available to make it back. So I think we're all rooting for her, and we're all really hoping that she can, you know, make it back again. Because in terms of an athlete who is really well-rounded and he can potentially do well on the games, CrossFit Games arena, I believe she's an athlete that can do that. She's strong in her gymnastics, she's ridiculously strong, and I know that she's been working a lot on her running and longer distance in the off-season.
The second of 2 heats for event number 1, the 333, repeat of a Games event back in 2014. And the Battle Royale will be here all weekend between the first and second fittest of women on earth, Cara Saunders and Tia Claire Toomey. And with more on that, let's head down to Lily Cosgrove.
Hi, Jeremy. I had a little chat to Shane Orr, that's Tia's coach and also her husband, in the warm-up area. I just wanted to find out how she was feeling heading into the regionals. And we talked about the fact that she'd only been competing at the Commonwealth Games 8 weeks ago, obviously focusing on her weightlifting training heading into the Commonwealth Games. So now coming into this first event, pure monostructural, as Danae's been talking about, how's she feeling about that and how's her training prepared her for that? And he said she's actually feeling pretty good. She's focused on just a top 5 this weekend. She's not necessarily going out to win the regional. She's keeping things, you know, calm, trying to stay realistic about things, considering, you know, she's been doing all that weightlifting training just recently. Having said that, this event is really in her wheelhouse. She was a runner previously, so she's sort of pacing it a little bit, and she's not going to go out to win.
You never know what happens, Lil. We could see a new champ down here in the Pacific.
She seems to be holding on a really good pace with this row. Just trying to keep that stroke rate sitting there on 29, and as she's moving, it's 200 over per that 500 metres.
2/3 of the way through the row. For those of you who don't know what the Commonwealth Games is, it's like a smaller version of the Olympics, but only involving the Commonwealth countries right around the world, which was held on the Gold Coast a couple of months back, which is on the east coast of Australia. So Tia Claire Toomey taking out a gold medal in her weight class, which is a very, very impressive feat and a very impressive 12 months.
Well, it is a very impressive 12 months, but, you know, Jeremy, let's take a minute just to, you know, comprehend the differences between that sport and this event here today. So that sport is literally 3 lifts on a platform. This event is 3,000 metre row, 300 double unders, and a 3-mile run. So
it's still 3. It's the same, isn't it?
I don't think it works like that.
No, it does not.
But let's just comprehend that, okay? We're looking at pure strength. So we're going from pure strength into, you know, something that requires a lot of cardiovascular fitness. So I think it's really, really smart with, you know, what Lily said about, you know, keeping it together in terms of, you know, not trying to get too ahead of herself and looking for a safe finish with this particular event.
Justine Bede just to the left of Tia-Clair Toomey in the pink and the blue. Had the year off last year. And this will be Justine's last regional competition, and she wants to go out with a bang. She needed that break last year, physically, mentally, recharge her batteries. Going for one last shot. Reebok CrossFit Games in Madison this year. And the way she's looked and trained over the last 12 months, there's no reason why she can't repeat what she did 2 years back.
So Justine Bede just in the pink top there. But what I think is really interesting to note is Justine looks really composed, whereas I think Tia's really going for it on this row. You know, a lot of people, what I think they've done is actually paced this first part of the row, but you know what Rob told us earlier is that he actually went quite hard. So it looks to me like Tia is actually going for it on this row, and I think that's because she knows she is a strong runner. Let's see how that pans out as we get through this event.
Running background definitely helping Tia-Clair Toomey, especially in the run, swim, run event at the Reebok CrossFit Games last year. Beaten only by one other person, which was Brent Fikowski. That's pretty impressive.
It's incredibly impressive, incredibly impressive. So we know she can run.
We are not too far away from seeing our first athletes move off the rowers. Cara Saunders is one of those. Caitlin Marks was the first off bottom of screen. Cara center of screen.
I have to say that's really impressive. You know, Caitlin is just coming off the back of having a baby
8 months ago.
8 months ago.
Can you believe it?
And looks like
I'm not going to have a body like that ever, and she's got one 8 months after having a baby.
Well, she can still do the washing.
Yes, exactly. Rochelle Steinberg in the blue to the right of screen as well. Look for her in event 2, Linda. She is super, super strong and off to a great start on these double unders.
It's of no surprise we see these women, you know, offer the row in such a fast time. You know, Cara's very, very powerful. And I think she'd look to be, you know, trying to get some seconds ahead. To have it up the sleeve as she gets on the run. I know she's been focusing a lot on her running during the off season. But because it is such a long event, you know, having all those spare seconds will be well regarded mentally. So Cara looking very composed in her double unders. She'll be just trying to, you know, get her heart rate back down now.
Doing double unders and getting your heart rate down doesn't really seem to go in the same sentence for most people. But as you mentioned, this is the recovery movement. Because you've got to hit that row hard, you've got to run hard. So this is the only chance you've got to get that heart rate down, compose yourself a little bit. And for these athletes, 300 double unders pretty much should be done in 3 minutes.
For these athletes, you know, it's something that they probably practice a lot, both, you know, when they are working out and probably as a skill in itself. So doing 300 double unders, whilst it seems a lot to us mere mortals, for these girls here out there on the floor, this is a bit of extra work that's been put into this event. Now, as I said before, you know, the interesting component of this is that what it is going to do is, because it's, you know, they're plyometrically bounding up and down, is it is going to make their legs a little heavier as they get onto that run. Now we can see Caitlin Marks here just in the center of the screen with the blue shirts, blue top. She comes from a hockey background, so she was with the Hockey Ruse. So it's of no surprise in an event like this that she is doing really well. You can see she's a little bit taller, so she would have had a nice long stroke. But not only that, she'd probably be the type of athlete that, you know, as it starts to get breathier, as it starts to get harder, you know, she's in her happy place.
Caitlin from CrossFit Raw Iron on the Gold Coast. Very differing athletes. Just to the left of screen, Simone Arthur, one of our shorter athletes, but Caitlin Marks, one of our taller ones. Rochelle Steinberg's now with some work to do, getting to the double unders in third position, but now falling behind. But now Caitlin just behind Cara in the battle, and now here comes the fittest woman on earth, Tia Claire Toomey, and look like she is off and running already.
Was that a dive to the assault air runner?
Pretty much, and she's looking like to go pretty fast from the get-go.
And you can see her leg speed is just, you know, ticking over compared to the other girls at the moment on screen. You know, Tia's a very experienced runner. If you're looking at her form and technique, it looks, you know, picture perfect here.
All right, so the record for the ladies is 40 minutes and 15 seconds. And as a sprint time, they were at 15:15 at the end of the timers. Cara Saunders got in 14:55.
So it's going to be interesting to see how this strategy plays out. For Cara, she did go pretty hard on the road. She went out pretty hard on the run. Sorry, on the double unders. Let's see how that strategy plays out in the back end of this race. I mean, there's no doubt this girl has an engine, but let's see if she can hold on there. And that may have been a strategy that she decided to choose so that she could just mentally get ahead of the other girls. As we look down the line, we can see, you know, the girls looking pretty composed in the first part of this race. The torsos are upright, so just trying to get as much air as they possibly can. I really love the arm positioning of everyone. They look nice, it looks nice and high. And also the foot positioning. If we look across the line, you can see Tia's foot, it's kind of hitting quite high up on the belt. As we've mentioned in other heats that, you know, this isn't your traditional treadmill, if you will. The assault air runner does operate a little bit different. The only way for this to move forward or for any meters to tick over is it requires the athlete to put their foot on the top of the belt.
We have a new leader. It is Maddie Sturt, two-time Games competitor, closely followed by Tia Claire Toomey in second and Cara Saunders in third. Caitlin Marks now in fourth position. We are fortunate enough to have a former Games competitor from 2014 and representative of Australia in the Commonwealth Games a few months back, Pip Malone. Welcome back.
Hi.
I should say welcome back.
Yeah, I know, it's been a while.
Where have you been?
Lifting weights.
So the last couple of years you've spent the time just focusing on Olympic weightlifting, specifically for Rio and then for the Commonwealth Games on the Gold Coast. How has the journey been?
Oh, it's been amazing. It was a goal of mine ever since I was a kid to make the Commonwealth Games. So to have done that was a huge goal that I ticked off, and I'm excited to be back here though this year. And it's been 4 years since I've been at regionals, because I've usually been at home running the gym while, you know, everyone else is here enjoying it. So it's been great.
So you two actually competed together in the 333. So the three contenders from the Pacific Regional are within about 50 meters of me, because Cara was the third one. How does it compare? Obviously, we've got different dynamics with the assault air runner. We don't have to battle the outdoor elements. How does this compare to what you did in in 2014?
Look, I can't speak for the girls on the floor right now, but I know the 333 was probably one of the most brutal events at the games that year, well, for me anyway, because these, you know, running workouts aren't really my jam. It's a real mental hurdle for me. But I guess just being on the spot in a stadium is going to feel completely different to running in the sun in California. So, you know, it's going to make a massive difference.
And talk us through Commonwealth Games. Obviously, when you represent your country in any sport, in any endeavour, it's pretty special. And I was actually out there when you were lifting, and it was just awesome to see you out there. Like, you've got nowhere to hide, and if you pretty much let nerves and that sort of thing get the better of you, it's done. When you're out here on the floor, as Rob mentioned earlier when he was in commentary, you can actually make up a deficit. Out there, you're on your own.
Oh yeah, it's a completely different ball game, and I think that's why I enjoyed taking a bit of time away from CrossFit and doing the weightlifting, because it is completely different. There's nowhere to hide. You know, it's dead silent. It's just you and the barbell out there. Out here, you know, you can kind of plug away in your corner and come out of nowhere. And it's completely different being out on a stage. You know, hundreds of people watching you, dead silent. So they're both awesome, but just completely different.
So let's talk. What's the future hold for Pip Malone? Are we going to see you back here on the regional floor in 2019?
Well, I got you guys hear it here first. I am going to come back next year.
Boom.
But in saying that, however...
Oh, no.
Don't spoil it for us now.
We just heard it. Did everyone hear that? Pip Malone is making a comeback in 2019.
But in saying that, training is not my priority in life. So if I can make it back, you know, putting the time that I have to put into it alongside my career and studies, then that's going to be the cherry on the cake. But I'm excited to come back and see what I can do. I'll be one of the old ducks.
Throw a cat amongst the pigeons, in fact.
Hopefully. I mean, that's the plan.
Fantastic. Well, it'll be excellent to see you out on the competition floor again.
Got to make it back there first. Got to make it through an open.
So, while you've been doing your Olympic lifting training, you have been doing a little bit of CrossFit training as well. Why do that?
Well, for me, like, I was a gymnast, so I've done 20 plus years of other sports, so doing one sport has never really just worked for me. I've always done lots of different things, and just weightlifting didn't make me a better weightlifter, you know, so I kept up the CrossFit. Obviously no long workouts like the 333, but just, you know, gymnastics and more like Metcon stuff definitely helped, and it's helped coming out the other side of weightlifting and wanting to do CrossFit again, even though it really hurts getting fit again, I will say. But yeah, it's been good.
Can you confirm the rumours that you still have a sub 2-minute Fran? Still.
You do, don't you? I did it.
You do.
You know, maybe.
So we are definitely going to see you back here on the floor next year.
Let's just talk about the dynamics of, you know, weightlifting compared to, let's say, an event like this, the 333. I mean, we know Tia's just competed at the Commonwealth Games, and here she is. You know, it's a totally different beast, isn't it?
It is, and I mean, Tia's exceptional. She's, you know, a totally different beast compared to a lot of athletes, but she would have done a big strength cycle coming into the Commonwealth Games and put these longer workouts on the back burner, I'm assuming. So I can imagine for her, you know, she probably wouldn't be as fit as she would be at the Games, because I know she's a very good runner, very good at these long cardio workouts. So I can imagine she might be a little bit behind where she'll be in another couple of months, but you know, weightlifting does not make you very good at running, I will say that, because I'm struggling to get back into that side of it at the moment.
And we can see Carrie here just on the screen right now. She does look like she's tiring a bit. You can see just the expression on her face and the shoulders. Her arms have kind of dropped. However, knowing Carrie as an athlete, you know, when we watched her doing the 333 or when we watched her doing Meth, she can have this expression on her face, but she'll just continue battling on.
And Tia Claire Toomey, our new leader now in heat number 2. Is she going to push forward that event record? We're going to have to wait and see over the next 15 to 16 minutes or so. Pip Malone, thank you very much for coming in and joining us, and we look forward to commentating on you on this regional floor next year.
Thanks for having me.
Coming up to the 24-minute mark. So nearing the halfway of the time cap. It is Tia-Clair Toomey out in front, the fittest woman on earth. Taking the lead back from Maddie Sturt. One of our early leaders, Rochelle Steinberg, struggling a little in lane number 5. But now our top 3. 2 of those 3 have been to the podium on the Reebok CrossFit Games last year. Maddie Sturt, 2-time Games competitor, looking to go back for her 3rd trip. And Caitlin Marks, 2nd athlete in the left of screen. A new mother, but still a great athlete and coming forth in event number 1. Justine Beath now moving into 5th position. And positions all important going into the weekend. This is one of 6 tests these athletes have to endure. And Rochelle Steinberg, as I mentioned, is just starting to slow down. She actually has stopped, and that run on the Assault Air Runner starting to take its toll.
When we spoke to Rob earlier, he did mention that, you know, it's really imperative for athletes to be able to get onto the Assault Air Runner because it is such a different beast and it does use a few different muscles that you would normally use when you're running. I find with the Assault Air Runner, it is a little bit more posterior chain related, so a lot of the glutes and hamstrings do fire up, and as well as your calves. So with anything, it's just kind of touching that implement and getting the body used to it. Maddie Sturt looks like she's having a great race. Her shoulders look pretty composed and it's a great tempo. Arms are nice and high.
You know what's funny with Maddie Sturt is when she's one of the smaller athletes, so the road's going to be quite difficult as opposed to a taller athlete with longer levers. So she's done very well to get to where she is, but can she maintain this position? Stay in touch with our current leader and fittest woman on earth, Tia-Clair Toomey.
As we look across the line, we can see where the foot strike is on the belt. We're kind of looking for athletes to have a little bit higher of a foot strike if they do want that belt to, you know, roll over a little bit faster. So the girls trying to stay as in their zone as possible, as much as possible. Both Jess and Tia looking at their screen, no doubt looking at their pacing.
Two of the fittest women on earth battling it out in the center of the screen. Our cross-regional comparison after 2 weeks of regional competition. No surprise to see the Icelandic girls, Katrin Davidsdottir and Annie Thorisdottir at the top. Carrie Pierce from the East Regional in 3rd. Laura Horvath, who was our surprise packet out of the Europe Regional. And Carol Lausen and Reason Thibault, the very, very strong Canadian, doing really well last year, getting to the Invitational and backing that up once again. Rounding out our top 5. Where are these girls going to place? We will have to wait and see. Another 14 minutes or so. But Tia looking really, really happy, and she has just started the move.
She does look very composed there, Jeremy. She looks like she has got herself a nice lead here. What we do have to think about is just the difference with her training, what it would have been, you know, leading up to this weekend. She just finished the Commonwealth Games and, as Pip said, finished a strength cycle. Now, this is very impressive from this girl. And with that said, if she can do this good now, what's going to happen when she's got a little bit more time to train for the Games?
I don't even want to think about it. Anything is possible, but once you get that mindset sorted out, you can achieve a whole lot more. Tia-Clair Toomey out in front, the chest piece sitting there out on its own. She has got a 1 minute lead over Maddie Sturt already. And and she'll look to extend that lead. But she is chasing down Kat Baker's Event 1 win. Caitlin Marks now moving into third. So Caitlin taking the third spot from Cara Saunders, who now is in fourth position. But keep your eyes on lane number 19. Harriet Roberts is slowly working her way past that halfway mark of this 4.8 or 3-mile run. There's Harriet on screen. She's been so close for so many years. Is this the year we see her get into that top 5 and book her ticket? She is from the CrossFit Athletic stable. She's already been to the games as part of team competition, so she's got that experience, but wants that individual title as well. So nearing the 30-minute mark, and Tia-Clair Toomey has now ticked off another segment on the floor. And all these girls are starting to chase her down. Still looking great, far left of screen, Tia-Clair Toomey. The chess pieces signifying where the athletes are placed at this stage of the run. Tia almost beating Brent Fakowski in the run, swim, run. Couple of seconds behind at the Reebok CrossFit Games last year. Proving the run is going to be no issue whatsoever.
As we look on screen, we can just see the Assault Air Runners screen and Tia's pace as she ticks over. Now coming into this 4.8 kilometre or 3-mile run, I'm pretty sure Tia will know exactly what pace she needs to sit at so that she can get to the last 400 metres, 500 metres, or, you know, and try and start picking up the pace and ensuring she can sprint to the finish line.
So Tia ticking over 16 minutes on the air runner. Trying to chase down that event record time of 40 minutes and 15 seconds from Gabriella Magala from the Europe Regional Week 1. The time to beat here, however, Kat Baker in heat number 1, 41.40. And if Tia can hold pace, she is going to take the win and the 100 points. And what a great start to the weekend that would be for Tia, for day 1 of the Pacific Regional.
That would be an impressive start to the weekend, wouldn't it? Jeremy, we've spoken about this, you know, in terms of the programming for this weekend. And, you know, when you analyse it, it is really, really well-rounded. There is something for everyone here. The way it's structured really is a little bit of a mini games, if you will. It's something totally different, something that we haven't seen before, and I think it's going to make for a brilliant finish when we get to that event 6.
Event 6 coming up on Sunday afternoon. This is only day 1 of action here at the Kudos Bank Arena, the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games Pacific Regional. These ladies have got just over 16 minutes remaining of event 1. Event 2 coming up later on in the afternoon. But the fittest woman on earth and our current leader, Tia-Clair Toomey, way out in front. And Tia is now extending her lead over Maddie Sturt. It is now over a minute. 1 minute and 5 second split. Maddie Sturt trying to break the distance between her and Tia-Clair Toomey. The battle for third will continue with Caitlin Marks, Justine Beath, Cara Saunders and Harriet Roberts, and it is going to be Caitlin Marks. Judges are very busy moving chess pieces all around the floor.
Madeline looks really relaxed and composed in this. I spoke to her earlier and she said she's also really looking forward to sinking her teeth into event 5. She has been training with
Matt Riley.
So we know Matt Riley from one of the earlier heats. He's the big guy that has the massive engine. So, you know...
biceps.
And biceps. What a great training partner to have.
Two different ends of the spectrum, too. He's a huge behemoth of a man. He's just sitting down in front of us. And one of the smallest athletes in the female field, but that doesn't matter. She's been to the games twice already and looking to book ticket number 3. Tia looking superb on this assault air runner. And the focus may not be on winning the Pacific Regional, but 100 points here is going to be a great start to taking that title off the 5-time champ, Cara Saunders.
Well, isn't that interesting? You know, going into this event, she said, you know, she wanted to keep things realistic and, you know, she wasn't actually looking for an event win. Now, I don't know if that changed when she got stepped onto the competition floor, because it looks like she's going to actually come away with an event win.
There is every chance she will be beating Kat Baker's Heat 1 time of 41.40. No doubt, knowing what Tia's like in her capacity, she is going to speed up for the last 1,200 metres. And she's just started that. So only 3 segments to go for Tia-Clair Toomey and Maddie Sturt. Tia is on track to finish under 40 minutes if she can maintain this pace, which will mean she will have the event record.
It looks like, you know, her changing really hasn't changed from the moment she jumped on to the assault air runner.
And she did launch onto it just to get it started straight away.
It was like, get me on.
But a difficult thing, you become the fittest on earth, you win that title. The hardest thing to do is back it up that next year. You've got a Commonwealth Games weightlifting meet in the meantime, but she's looking really good to get this event record and get back to defend her title. Nailing it at the moment, Tia-Clair Toomey with 2 segments remaining, which means that's 800 metres. And nothing has changed in her stride, in her composure, facial expression. This is her wheelhouse. And the lady left the screen, Maddie Sturt, is the one chasing her down. Rochelle Steinberg struggling in the blue, far left of screen. She was the 3rd off the double unders, but has really struggled on this assault air runner. But we know she's going to do very well in event number 2, so don't discount anything she's got just yet. 3 minutes for Tia-Clair Toomey to get this event record. Are we going to see something special again at the Pacific Regional? We keep producing great results. We do tend to get a few event records from time to time.
And don't discount this group of women over this weekend. You watch for some event records that we're going to see last for the remaining of the regionals.
2 more regionals coming up this weekend as well, the Atlantic Regional and also the Meridian in Madrid, Spain. So make sure you tune into those.
You can see the pace of the girls as they move through the back half of this event. And as they start moving, they're going to start trying to move their arms a little bit faster to cycle their legs.
We spoke to Jess Coughlin yesterday, and she said this was going to be a very poor event for her, not her favourite event. You mentioned she's crazy strong, great gymnastically. She's within the top 7 athletes in this heat. So she has done amazingly well on this assault runner.
Jess Coughlin on screen there. We can see that she is still looking pretty relaxed. I know that, I'm not sure if it was last season or the season before, she did do quite a bit of trail running, and hopefully that's paid off.
Now, The thing is, Tia-Clair Toomey is on track to get this event record. If she can maintain and speed up this pace, she has got about 1 minute and 15 seconds to do it.
Cara on screen there. Yes,
I've seen that look before.
I have seen that look before. Yes, she does look exhausted. Yes, she does look tired. But we have seen this look from Cara many a times on a run, which is why I'm not going to say, look, she's tired, she's, you know, she's run out of breath. But I've seen that look before. I actually think that's her in the zone.
Tia-Clair Toomey, centre of screen in the black. Wait for that judge's hand in the air. So Tia now has got roughly 30 seconds to get off that assault runner and down the floor to take the event record. Regardless, she is going to have the fastest time going in to event 2 coming up later on this afternoon.
Jeremy, it looks like she's speeding up. You can see her arms moving faster, which means she is starting to move her legs as well. Just an incredible race.
No event record for Tia-Clair Toomey, but it is going to be a super fast time.
But let's take a moment to comprehend. This woman, not so long ago, was competing in the Commonwealth Games.
And here she goes, the fittest woman on earth, 100 points and a great start to day 1 of competition at the Pacific Regional. Tia-Clair Toomey. And there's no better way to start off your weekend than 100 points. She's not focused on taking the title, but that's a cracking start.
Goosebumps, Jeremy, goosebumps. That is incredible. How do you do that? How do you do that? How do you go, I might just see how I go in this event. I'm not really going for the win and then just stroll over. Like, I have goosebumps.
Now Maddie Sturt, Caitlin Marks and Cara Saunders battling it out. It is going to be Maddie Sturt, however, who is going to get off the assault runner. And Justine Beath in the pink and the blue center of the screen is now in 5th position. So what a great comeback from Justine after having that year off. Maddie Sturt now very, very close to getting off that assault runner.
Now, when I'm looking at these girls, I am looking at their arm placement and how far that is dropping down. And I'm also looking with their hips, how much it's swaying from side to side. We can see Maddie has kept up that tempo all the way through.
Maddie Sturt finishing up just over 42 minutes. Giving an indication, Brooke Wells' time was 42.06, which is just ticked by. So that is a very impressive result from Maddie Sturt, one of our smaller athletes out here. Caitlin Marks, it's going to be the comeback of all comebacks. 8 months ago, giving birth, and now coming 3rd in a grueling 42-minute event for her. That's amazing.
That is impressive. So inspiring.
Cara Saunders, Justine Beath are going to be battling. The judges' hands are in the air for both athletes. We've still got a lot of time left on our time clock. Cara's off. 4th in this heat. And as we know with Cara, this might be a little bit outside her wheelhouse. But look out over the weekend, she's not going to go quietly.
And like I said, you know, perhaps maybe her running style or technique might not have been exactly on point, but it didn't really matter because we knew that, yes, that might be the case, but she was still going to finish this event in a relatively good time.
You're not a 5-time Pacific champ for no reason. And Justine Beath, welcome back to competition at the Pacific Regional. Great way for her in her last regional to get back to the Reebok CrossFit Games this August in Madison, Wisconsin.
number 9 now has the hand up to Jess Coughlin.
Jess Coughlin will be our next athlete home. She has moved impressively well on this air runner.
She has moved really impressively well. You know, her form hasn't seemed to wavered from the start to the finish. I think this is a really good finish for Jess. Let's look to see her, you know, in some of the other events.
The next one?
The next one,
She's
yes.
so looking forward to the bench press. She said yesterday she's been here for 7 years and she's been waiting for bench press to pop its head up, and it finally has. So all that training she's done over those many years to build up that strength she can finally use. And she is now done on the 4.8K run. And a great result from Jess Coughlin. Can she make her way back for her second trip to Madison? We'll wait and see at the back end of Sunday.
Mate, she is as strong as an ox, so I am looking forward to watching her on event 2. And I'm also looking forward to watching her on event 3.
Harriet Roberts, far right of screen, now the center of screen. She's doing all she can to book her ticket to Madison as well. 6 tests for these athletes. This is the first. Megan Lovegrove and Simone Arthur coming through neck and neck. And they have pipped Harriet Roberts, as will Stephanie Ortiz, who has been so close for so long. Harriet now finishing up. That last 400 took forever. That judge's hand was in the air for a very long time.
I wonder, sorry, I was just about to say, I wonder if, you know, she's going to get called back to knock down her chest piece.
Yes, she will. Athletes must knock down that chest piece before they come over.
Now, what might be interesting to note is, you know...
Gemma Root pretty much crawling over the line, sorry, Dee.
Is to note that, you know, athletes, you know, try and make sure that they do follow what is required, because it is valuable seconds.
Victoria Campos coming over the line from Reebok CrossFit Asphodel. Slaps, fist bumps, bump pats, all of the above. Couple of minutes remaining for these ladies.
And this is Anna here. She is just finishing up there. She's just from CrossFit Wanderlust over in Bali. One of our Asian competitors.
Now 2 minutes left, and the struggle continues for all these ladies that are left. Tia Claire Toomey coming down to have a chat to Rochelle Steinbergs on the left of screen. There might be competitors on the floor, but they're here to support each other as well. And one of our smallest yet awesome Asian competitors, Yuko Sakayuma. She's not very tall. I think she's about 4'8".
Not very tall, but has a big heart.
Biggest heart ever.
We do love seeing her out here on the competition floor.
Big time. So the row is going to be a bit of a struggle for her. But she's looking to finish up under that time cap. Now the last minute of event number 1. There's Yuko coming through to finish off. Loves coming out here every year. Now the last 40 seconds. Are we going to see anyone else finish? This has been a brutal start for all of these athletes. We've seen it for the last 2 weeks, right around the world. No doubt at the Atlantic and Meridian Regionals, we're going to see it again. But what a great test. We've got another great test coming up in a little while with event number 2, which is Linda.
Come on, darling, all the way to the end. Come on.
that is time on event number 1. And Tia-Claire Toomey, what an impressive performance. The second fastest time. Not bad for someone who's been weightlifting.
I can't comprehend it. I am gobsmacked. How do you do that? How do you go from lifting 3 reps to something that is monostructural and over such a long distance?
The start, the 3,000-meter row, the 300 double unders, and the 3-mile or 4.8K run. Tia off and running, and she did run.
She did. She dove onto that assault air runner, and she never looked like that she was wavering from letting go of the lead. She was strong from start to finish. What an impressive performance by the fittest woman on earth. It honestly gives me goosebumps.
Great start to take the Pacific title this year. The fittest woman on earth is down on the floor with Lily Cosgrove.
Tia-Claire Toomey, congratulations, 100 points, a great way to kick off the weekend. Now, I was speaking to Shane, your husband and coach, just before that event, and he said it wasn't necessarily your plan to go out and smash that one, but you did. So tell us, how did your plan change once you're out on the floor?
As soon as I heard the crowd, the atmosphere obviously takes you to the next level, and you really just want to put on a bit of a show in front of you guys. So thanks so much. And yeah, I mean, you always have like a bit of a plan, but as soon as you get onto the floor, things change, whether it's a good way or a bad way. And today I felt my flow and just wanted to get out there and give it a good shot.
So we remember you at the Games last year with that foot race with Christy Bishop. How is it different with the assault runner where you can't really tell where people are?
Oh, the assault runner is a mean thing. It's a mean machine for sure. But I mean, it really just comes down to you and how fast you want to push yourself. So you couldn't, sorry, the echo is really putting me off. You couldn't really compare yourself to other people, so yeah, you just had to play your own game.
So now, complete change of pace for event number 2 with Linda. What is the plan to get ready for that?
We'll definitely want to work on warming up my pecs for sure, but just not going out too hot and sticking to what I'm capable of for my bench press, for my squat cleans and for my deadlifts, and hopefully I execute my plan to the right plan, and yeah, I'll be good.
Well, congratulations, we'll see you soon.
The fittest woman on earth executing that plan to perfection here, day 1 of the Pacific Regional. Our results: Tia 40-31, Kat Baker from heat number 1, 41-40, and Maddie Sturt rounding out the top 3. Great results from Caitlin Marks and Alice Tucker. Cara Saunders, don't discount her, she's still in touch, especially coming into event number 2, which is Linda coming up in just a little while. Justine Beath doing all she can to book another ticket back to the Reebok CrossFit Games in August, Madison, Wisconsin this year. We've seen a great start to the men's and women's individual competition. We are going to be back here with event number 2. It is Linda. For all your results, stay tuned to games.crossfit.com. We'll see you in a little while.